Hey everybody, my name is Nick Boone at Ascend Real Estate and Property Management here in Bakersfield. Today is May 1st, and I'm gonna go over a market update as of today. So how are rentals doing? How are sales doing? Are people still buying? Is there gonna be a massive recession coming? What to expect, what we're looking at right now, and just kind of my thoughts. I'm gonna keep this video as non-political as possible because I just want it to be about the housing market and stats and what's going on. So I will keep it to a minimum on that, just go over facts and the state of the market. So I think the big question on everybody's mind is, are we going to go through a housing or other recession throughout the US? And keep in mind, this video is just about Bakersfield. So we are a dot on thousands of cities across the US. So I'm gonna help try to answer that the best that I can with my little crystal ball, get my opinion out there and let you guys know what I think is going to happen because it's on everybody's mind. People that bought a house right before the market hit quarantine, are they still buying during quarantine? All of those questions I'm gonna help answer and let you know what my opinions are for the next month, 6 months, 12 months, 5 years, kind of that whole generic out. So first we'll talk about the rental side of things because that's a big thing for a lot of people. A lot of people rely on people paying their mortgage. They rely on investment income to live their life. They have funds or something that they're paying investors to. So it's a really big topic right now. Investors are wondering what is going on. So I pulled a lot of different stats from my company. We manage a little over 650 units with 650 tenants throughout all of Kern County, not just Bakersfield. So in March, we had 554 tenants pay before this whole thing kind of took hold because the state order, I believe, was on the 27th of March. In March, we had 577 tenants pay rent on time throughout the whole month. So it's pretty normal for what we see here in Kern County. And keep in mind, that is across Kern County, not just Bakersfield specifically. So 577 for March before the state order took effect. In April, we had 554. So not terrible. Definitely a lot better than a lot of people were anticipating. You know, some people were expecting hundreds of tenants to not pay across our company. I remained optimistic through the whole thing, so this was kind of my assumption. Anyways, I thought that we would be pretty strong. So that difference is only about a little over a 4% difference. So from March to April, it's about a 4% decline in tenants paying. I also put together monthly collected income from March and April. The problem was in April, a lot of homeowners and property owners were giving discounts on rent. So 20%, 25%, 30%, some gave 50% off of the rent. So the number collected for April and March are vastly different, even though we're only down 4% overall. So that definitely could have played a factor as to why so many more tenants paid rent, especially if they were getting a discount. So not really sure if that helped them pay or if that had anything to do with it. That's definitely a contributing factor. Applications. So typically when people are applying for properties, we get anywhere from 25 to 30 applications for new leases on properties that we manage. In March, we got 26 applications for 26 different properties. In April, we only had 21. So it's only a 5 application difference on 5 different houses, but that's a little over 20% decrease. What that means is April wasn't necessarily affected, but May coming up, we're gonna have a lot fewer people moving in. There'll be a lot less people moving in and out of different places, apartments, houses, all of that stuff. So while that number doesn't sound that dramatic right now, that will lead into fewer people moving in the next 30 to 60 days. So that's also a number we track and kind of keep track on, see what that kind of traffic is looking like. So now let's talk about sales. Are people still buying houses? Are people still selling houses? The short answer is more than ever. So I'll go over statistics from the beginning of the year till now, what we're averaging in sales, pendings, solds, all of that information to kind of let you know what the state of the market here is in Bakersfield, because we have a lot going on right now. Oil prices is killing a lot of jobs. Obviously, the whole COVID thing is just destroying a ton of businesses and jobs. Noriega Hotel just announced that they're not going to be reopening. So you have a lot of really, really negative news right now. The one positive thing is housing market is still super strong, which is surprising and awesome. So as of March 1st, on a per week basis, we had 72 new listings on average hit the market and go live for people to buy. Now, interestingly, we've had 74 houses per week go pending. So we've had 2 more houses go pending than people listing their house for sale, which is awesome. That's great news. That means people are still definitely buying. They're buying the new houses that are getting listed, and they're buying some old houses that have sat on the market a little longer than they should have. Closed sales have averaged 89 per week, which is a lot higher than both of those previous numbers, which means the houses in escrow from 30, 45, 60 days ago are now actually officially closing. And I know my office specifically and a lot of other people have seen massive delays in closing properties. So what was once 30 days is now 45, 50, 60 days, but they're still closing, and they're closing at a higher rate than people are listing. So we'll see how that looks over the next 30 to 45 days as the listings right now being sold go into escrow, and what that looks like for the next month, 2 months. The one big downside is listings being removed from the market. So that's an average of 42 per week, which is pretty high. I think now people are starting to do that more and more, especially higher end homes. Those homes that are over 300, 350,000 are sitting on the market longer. They're definitely seeing slower sale times and just kind of, really frustrating time for people owning luxury homes, because the buyer pool for that is a lot lower than it was before. And keep in mind, the higher you get in sales price, the fewer people that qualify in a normal market. So on an abnormal market like this, you're cutting that pool even more. So median days on market right now is actually 25 days from the day you listed until you go into escrow, which is not terribly abnormal. That's a little higher than we saw in the market prior to COVID hitting and the state order, but definitely still less than a month is still great in my opinion. So not anything crazy there. I think that's still a really great trend. All right, so now the most important part of it, median sales price. What's that doing? Is that tanking? Are we gonna see a massive sell-off? Properties going down 10%, 15%, 20%? No, we're not, surprisingly. We've seen an increase. So I will go over January, February, March, and April as we have it right now, which again, today is May 1st, so this is as of May 1st. So in January, median sales price was $252,000. February was $259,000 as the median price. March was $260,000, and April is a staggering $275,000 median price. So from January 1st until now, the market has gone up 9%. The market's gone up 9% since the first of the year. That's crazy. And all of this news was going on well before January 1st. So, it's an amazing feat. Just last month, meaning April, it went up 5.8% across the board, which is insane. So we went into quarantine and housing prices almost went up 6%. So people are absolutely buying. There's still a ton of buyers out there looking. There are still investors investing. People are still renting properties, moving out, moving up, moving down, everything in between. It's still a really healthy market. The thing that I wonder is, what would we be doing if there was no COVID? This housing market in Bakersfield would be insane. If it's going up right now, it would have been nuts. So definitely a great sign so far. We're 30 days deep right now, more than 30 days, but we have a full month to kind of see how it impacted everything. And I think it's going really well. I will tell you, anything under the median is still flying off the market. Tons of showings, multiple offers sometimes. So that's a really great sign. However, like I mentioned previously, the luxury homes, anything over $450,000, $500,000 is definitely sitting and seeing a very, very steep decrease of showings. So we're not seeing, the pool for the higher income homes that we were before, but we're still getting showings. My opinion is people that are looking at homes have looked at the pictures, looked at virtual tours, ran numbers. I mean, they are very, very into the property they're looking at. So when they look at a property, it's a very tactful showing. They're looking at it saying, hey, I've done everything I can. Now I just want to look at it and make sure that I still want this property. So I think while showings are down a lot, they're very, very precise showings. They're not just, let me go look at 30 houses. I looked at this house, I love this house, this is the house that I want. So I think it's more in that range of how people are actually looking at things, which again is not a bad thing. You know, decreased showings doesn't necessarily mean decreased sales like we're seeing. So we've seen what's happening. What is going to happen? Are we going to see this decline after the COVID thing goes away? When is the COVID thing going away? You know, there's all kinds of unknowns right now. In my opinion, I don't think that we're gonna see a decline, and if we do, it would not be a dramatic decline. We're not gonna see housing prices cut by 25%. 10% I think would even be, you know, really large. I don't think that we're gonna see that market. I think maybe it'll dip if we're not out of it by the winter, because that's typically when sales slow anyways. So if we're not out of this thing by October, November, we'll definitely see a bigger dip than we did before. But regardless, we've seen dips every year cyclically when the housing market sells and, you know, based on the season. So I don't think it's gonna be that crazy. Bakersfield is still not at its peak bubble level, so we're still under that level, which is still a great thing for Bakersfield, because a lot of other counties and cities in California have surpassed that number. So we're still definitely under that, which is still good. It still gives us some room while not being just overly inflated, and, you know, housing prices are skyrocketing. You know, it's a very healthy market still. I have people asking me the same questions all the time. Should I buy now? Should I wait? We're not seeing a crazy difference. You know, we're being more careful on showings, wearing masks and gloves and booties and, you know, all of the stuff to protect homeowners and tenants and buyers and all kinds of different things. But overall, the market is doing really, really well, and I would expect to see people continuing to buy as the season gets better, things get hotter, and it gets hotter throughout Bakersfield, and people are still looking to buy houses. So the summer will be an interesting time to see how housing prices do and how housing sales are moving. Again, in my opinion, is very, very optimistic. I think that we're gonna be just fine, Bakersfield. So if you guys have any questions, if you're seeing anything different, if you have an opinion on what the housing market is gonna do, let me know. I'd love to get some feedback and see what you guys think. I'll see you on the next video.